Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to speak on Senate Bill 45, which would move most prostitution-related offenses, such as patronizing prostitutes and promoting prostitution, to the human trafficking section of the Crimes Code. Mr. President, over the past few years, I've spent a significant amount of time listening to survivors of sex trafficking. It is an epidemic. The importance of that listening came really home to me while sitting at the Stop Juvenile Sex Trafficking annual meeting 3 years ago. There were 1,100 people there involved in that fight, many of them survivors. I was sitting with 5 of those survivors who were from Pennsylvania when, during that lunch, news came that there was a change in the federal law, in a piece of legislation that would require anybody calling the sex trafficking hotline, it would have to be reported to police. The response was visceral. As I'm sitting there, these poor women who have been through hell on earth were saying they'd never call it. We have to understand that there is a difference between what society would like to do to the predators and the situation that somebody who's caught up in what's called the life is enduring at the time. So there are 2 elements I want to bring up about this bill, and that goes to what I learned sitting there at that lunch. First, let me ask everyone to consider something. Does anyone here think that a toddler, an adolescent girl or boy, or a teen has it on their list of aspirations to become a prostitute? Anyone? It sounds like a rhetorical question, but there are people who would have us believe that the oldest profession is a noble profession, and it is neither noble nor it is a profession. Those who are caught up in what is called the life know that they have been groomed, manipulated, and forced in one way or another into the life. There are some who have arrived there due to feeling that they had no other recourse in order to survive. And there are those in the entertainment industry who try to make it seem glamorous, mostly because those who are trying to make it seem, as we've seen in news reports, that those people end up, we find that they want that so they'll be able to abuse those vulnerable young people without consequence. They are sick and they need help. Those who are caught up in this and renting their bodies for money, shelter, or some other need have issues that need to be addressed. And indeed, they can be addressed without degrading their bodies and souls. And that is not, trying to punish those people is not the purpose of this legislation. This bill addresses those who prey upon those vulnerable people and is absolutely not designed to prosecute the vulnerable. There are other bills that will be coming out of the bipartisan, bicameral Anti-Human Trafficking Caucus to help those who are trauma-informed, including survivors, to help those caught up in the life. I know from listening to survivors that anything that could be interpreted to make it seem as if those currently in, and they call it the life, might be caught up in the scope of the primary focus of this bill. It is important to make it clear that they are not the targets of this bill. The Johns, the pimps, the abusers of those young boys and girls, young women and men are the targets. Those that traffic children, those who rent the bodies of these young people who are just trying to survive this life, those predators are the target. The FIFA World Cup coming to Pennsylvania, the America 250 celebration, will have strong focus on Pennsylvania and other events that draw large crowds. We know those who have survived being transported to these venues from out of state, that they've informed us of those working in this space, that there will be organized crime elements who transport these young women and boys to be sex toys of those who have zero regard for what those children are going through. Those who have survived being used, abused, and thrown away want accountability for the actions of those people. Those who have survived being sodomized, beaten, drugged, or otherwise abused know that unless those who have done these heinous acts against them, when they are so vulnerable, will not change unless the law is changed to treat the abusers for the heartless destruction that they have wrought on the vulnerable. Those who have survived know that unless both the trafficker and the buyer are held to account in a meaningful way, held to account in a manner reflective of the destruction that they have brought on these vulnerable children, they will continue to destroy lives. I can't put it any better than my colleague Senator Collette put it when describing how the members of this bipartisan, bicameral anti-human trafficking caucus feel about this bill and all of the bills meant to help those victims and survivors while holding accountable those who prey on the vulnerable. We are not backing down. Unfortunately, those heavily crowded venues I mentioned earlier are all proven human trafficking hotspots, labor trafficking, and especially sex trafficking, all of which makes pushing this high priority, bipartisan, bicameral legislation across the finish line even more necessary to maintaining law and order and helping prevent further destruction of innocent lives. With that, I would like to express my gratitude and congratulations to all of my Anti-Human Trafficking Caucus co-chairs, Senators Maria Collette, Marty Flynn, Kristen Phillips-Hill, Representatives Danilo Burgos, Kate Klunk, Clint Allett, and Regina Young. Mr. President, I will leave my colleagues and all those watching and listening with that from which I started. No child aspires to be a prostitute. Those who are in the life are there because a predator has caused them to be there. Let's give the Attorney General, the prosecutors around the state, the tools they need. Let's give our judges the ability to make the punishment for predatory abusers fit the horror that they inflict on the vulnerable. Let's have a unanimous vote on Senate Bill 45. Thank you, Mr. President.